Gary, my dear friend, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, too. And Stephen Longfellow-Fisk for doing this wonderful event every year. And I sit up here proud to be with two wonderful leaders in government. My dear friend Bill Rosendahl from the City Council has done so much for the environment, so much for this district. A big hand for my friends, Bill Rosendahl, please. And our congressional leader, my dear friend, who has a 100% voting record on the environment, Jane Harman. A big hand for Jane. I won't talk long. I just want to tell you what I know is possible. I know that solar power is possible because it's powered my house since 1990. So I know it works. I know that electric cars work because I've been driving them off and on since 1970, and I've been driving them non-stop since 1990. I came here today in an electric car that I charged on solar panels. So we know that we can do it. And also, I know that wind power works. I've owned a wind turbine in the California desert since 1985, so I know that wind power works. Very inexpensive way to make electricity. A big hand for wind power, too, if you will. So this is the kind of direction we need to move into to have less of these spills in the Gulf. We need to move to more renewables. How do we do that? Can we afford solar panels on every rooftop today? Can we afford wind turbines, you know, all over the country? Perhaps we can, but I'll tell you the road to get there. The road to get there, I advise people to do it exactly the way I did it in 1970. I couldn't afford expensive solar electricity in 1970. I couldn't afford a wind turbine as I bought in 1985. In 1970, I could afford cheap and easy stuff, like my MTA pass I have right here with me. I have my MTA pass. Like riding a bike with weather and fitness permit. How many people here took a bike here today or walked or took public transportation? All right. A great way to get around. All that stuff is inexpensive. And energy-efficient light bulbs and energy-saving thermostats and weather stripping, all that cheap and easy stuff, low-hanging fruit. We save money with that stuff, then we move up the ladder, and eventually we can afford things, and hopefully soon we can afford things like wind turbines and solar panels. There are many people like myself who can afford them today, but many people who cannot. To them I say, do what you can today. Because I'll tell you, there's going to be lots of investigations, and there should be, into what Transocean did, to what Halliburton did, what BP did. I believe there's been some mistakes and wrongdoing there, but I want to look in the mirror too and see my role in that spill. How much fuel am I using? What can I do? So 11 people didn't die in vain out there for cheap oil. So 29 people didn't die recently at Massey Coal in that coal mining accident. People are dying for the cheap energy we often take for granted. And in 1989, when the Exxon Valdez spill occurred, there was an ad in the back of Greenpeace magazine. It had a picture of Captain Hazelwood, the skipper of that vessel, the Exxon Valdez. And it said it wasn't his bad driving that caused the spill, it was ours. And there's some truth to that, folks. I'm not letting BP off the hook. I'm not letting Transocean or Halliburton off the hook. But we need to take a role with the kind of leadership we have with Jane Harman in the Congress, that we have from Bill Rosendahl here at the City Council. We can do it, folks, to make this an energy-efficient LA. Will everybody pledge to do something today, please? Go around to all these wonderful vendors. Go there and see the energy-efficient things they have. I'm not saying anybody run out and get into debt buying things they cannot afford, but do the things you can afford. And if you can afford solar electric today, please go get it. If you can afford a wind turbine, go get it. But if you can afford very little, get those energy-efficient light bulbs. Get that weather stripping. Ride the MTA as I do. Take a bike with weather and fitness permit. Do that stuff that you can so we can have less spills in the Gulf. Can we do it, folks? Yeah! Okay, I turn it back to Gary, and I thank you so much, and I thank my dear friends here, Jane and Bill.